I will do it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I hope I will, because I had a problem with your presentation. I don't know why. Maybe I will. It's some kind of, it's strange when I open it, I have a specific kind of mode, and yeah, but I will try. Yeah, no, it's a problem, I think, of my computer.
Okay.
So I think now it's okay like that. People are coming in. I don't know. Yes. No. It's a problem, I think, of my computer.
Okay.
So I think now it's okay like that.
Christelle, if you have YouTube open, please turn off the sound of the YouTube channel.
People are coming in.
Okay, is it better?
I hope so. I hear myself again.
Yeah.
No, because yes, we hear your microphone, of course, Christelle. If you have heard the YouTube channel.
I'm on both channels because I wanted to double check both chats. But maybe it's making parasiting noise.
No, if you don't mute, if you mute YouTube channel, it's fine.
I have muted it. It's muted now.
Yeah, now it's fine.
Okay, super.
I don't know. Should we start maybe? Because time is really an issue in this conference. So I prefer to start and let people coming in during the video and to welcome. Welcome everybody to the second eu-CONEXUS annual closing conference. We will start with a short video. I will de-share and let Laura take the.
Okay.
Thank you, Laura. This is eu-CONEXUS. Welcome again. I'm Isabella Berazelt. I'm the Executive Director of eu-CONEXUS. We are here for our second annual closing conference, representing a strong partnership for the long term. I will, without further ado, introduce our first speaker. It is our eu-CONEXUS Governing Board Chair and President of La Rochelle University, Jean-Marc Augier. And La Rochelle University is at the moment coordinating the Alliance. And I say some words about Jean-Marc. Jean-Marc is by training computer scientist and worked and still works mainly in document analysis and content management. And he's, of course, author of a lot of publications and communications and managed several French and European research projects. in document analysis, either with public institutions or with private companies. And he has also been director of the French National Research Center, the CNRS, and he is French governing board member of the International Association for Pattern Recognition, where he chairs the Committee on Computational Forensics. So this is my introduction of Jean-Marc. Please take the floor for some the keynote welcoming speech, please.
Keynote. Let's try to say that it is a keynote. Hello, everybody, dear colleagues, dear rectors, dear friends, dear students. It's my real pleasure to welcome you today for the second edition of the annual closing conference of EU-CONEXUS. As it has been said by Isabella, eu-conexux is a new academic object that we are developing at the moment, for which nothing was written before, two or 3 years ago. And all together, we are trying to construct something new, something original, something very important for the European education system, for the competitiveness of Europe in terms of research, for the societal impact of the university in Europe. So all together, the partners with which we are working now are gathered around this common project, this European Alliance, the aim of which is to work on a particular topic, which is the smart urban coastal sustainability. The aim of which is to think how to construct a future, a collective future, more safe for the citizens living on coastal areas, by combining all the disciplines, working at the interface between the disciplines, by developing the critical mind of our students through cross-disciplinary based education system. So we have a lot of things to do. A lot of things has already been done since the 2 years, and thanks to all the teams that are working with us today. And I would like to warmly thank, of course, the team who manages EU-CONEXUS with us, and also thank all the partners, all the members of the universities working with us with this open mind concerning the way to construct these new objects. I think that we are very lucky because there is a high level of convergence between the rectors of this EU-CONEXUS Alliance. And this is a chance. Of course, we decided to construct it together. So the philosophy of constructing this object was initially co-constructed, but we are still on the same line. We are still agreeing on the way we should follow for creating this new academic object, which has to be competitive at the global level in the future. So today, the second edition of the annual closing conference aims at sharing what has been done, aims at sharing what should be done in the future, and to prepare our collective environment, because some very important milestones are waiting for us, depending on the national policies, depending on the European policies. And we must construct a path, the good path for all of us, for constructing this new environment for the youth of Europe. So a lot of aspects will be discussed today, as you could see in the agenda, which has been prepared by the teams. We are going to share a lot of aspects dealing with education, with innovation, with societal impacts, with the administration part of the universities. And I'm ready to listen what is going to be discussed today, because this will help us to construct all together the future of EU-CONEXUS. So this is all I wanted to say, Isabella. It's not very long, just a short introduction, saying that I'm very proud and honored to modestly chair this EU-CONEXUS University, and would like to warmly thank again all the teams who are working with us. Please continue, Isabella, it's yours.
Thank you, Jean-Marc. And let me just highlight here at this point that EU-CONEXUS has its origins in this brain of this computer scientist you have just heard during the welcome speech. And he still very much inspires who we are and what we do and where we go. And with his ideas and his energy, and thanks to him, we have launched this partnership. And I think to be able to say in the name of the whole consortium, the whole EU-CONEXUS community, that in big parts, thanks to him, this partnership and this alliance is set out to grow and is set out to last. So thank you, Jean-Marc, and thank you for this initiative. I will give the floor immediately to our next speaker, which is Nefeli Tsaouzi. Nefeli Tsaouzi is a senior student at the Agricultural University of Athens. She is currently working on her thesis in the Laboratory of Applied Hydrobiology. And during the past semester, she participated in the eu-CONEXUS minor program, Blue Growth and Economy. Blue Economy and Growth. She is ambitiously engaged in doing her studies, in following conferences, in doing internships, and she's also teaching in a high school mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. And Nefeli aims also at continuing her studies after the thesis and pursue a career in the research field of hydrobiology. Welcome, Nefeli. I give you the floor. Do you share your presentation yourself?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much, Isabella. And thank you all for being here. So I'm going to, is it on presentation mode?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, now, yeah.
Great. So I'm going to make a presentation about the important aspects of the student life within the EU-CONEXUS Alliance. And the first one is all the activities that were offered from the EU-CONEXUS, except the student board that we all can participate in, and that we had student representatives in all the working groups of the Alliance. There was also the buddy system that is currently running. And the 4EU session we had so we can exchange opinions with other alliances, but also the welcome days for the minor programs, our Facebook page so we can communicate with all the students through the EU-CONEXUS, and all the cultural events and sports events and social media challenges we had through the year. Also, there is a huge impact on our study experiences as we all come from different cultures and different backgrounds. We can see now different ways of thinking and acting. And of course, as we can participate into other European universities, we can see how they operate and even learn about new laboratory techniques and practicals. And of course, we can expand our knowledge by learning various cases and examples in other countries that we couldn't think of. We are also expanding our international awareness because as I said, there are different cultures and we are improving in that way our work ethic and our values. We are learning to form a European identity and build respect for other nationalities, but at the same time, we're not forgetting our own identity. And of course, as students, we have some expectations from the European universities. It is only logical after this year that we have some expectations for physical interaction, and we would like to have more summer schools and trainings in physical presence, even have some field trips. We would also like to make some training courses more specialized and that would offer us more about our program of studies. And so we can improve some soft skills such as our management skills. And of course, we are looking forward to form an EU-CONEXUS student association and an alumni system so we can have more opportunities in the European job market and of course have easier access on them. So thank you very much for your attention. Stop share screen.
Thank you very much, Nefili, for your input. Yeah, it's always important to have students on board, and I think we can live up to the expectations that students have from EU-CONEXUS, of course. And with your help, we will build this university that suits your needs. And of course, we will come back to student experience during the programs still.
Sure, thank you.
I will now introduce or lead over to the more interactive part of the program. We have organized this year the annual closing conference around 3 roundtables where we highlight the different working areas or the different missions of our EU-CONEXUS university partnership. The subjects of these 3 roundtables will be treated by 8 experts, by 8 speakers from different perspectives. And you will get the insights, what has already been achieved and what is planned to be achieved in the future within the Alliance. By building upon what we have defined as our global ambition and our global strategic vision, which was developed in 2019. And now after 2 years, we can build this vision and the strategic ambition also on concrete experiences that we have made during the 2 years of close and intensive cooperation. The first roundtable will tackle the subject from vision to reality, and will introduce the discussion on what ambitions are perceived for the universities, for the European universities, from the European perspective. From the strategic, more political perspective of a rector, and from the more operational perspective of the general management of a university. After that, in the second roundtable, which is about innovation in studies, we will tackle the study dimension of our program from the perspective of a teacher, respectively a dean of a partner universities, and a student. And finally, in the third roundtable will be tackled the outreach and innovation dimension of our research and studies. And here we have the chance to welcome an external expert with an outside view on this important university mission. And afterwards, the Alliance's plans and projects in this domain will be presented by the chair of the EU-CONEXUS Research Council. And finally, the representative of the winning team of our EU-CONEXUS International School Contest will tell us how outreach to schools and to works and has been perceived by pupils in a concrete example. Questions and comments are welcome at the end of each roundtable. And do not hesitate to put your questions in written form in the chat. They will be taken up by me or my co-moderators. Thank you very much for now. I will introduce the first speaker of the first roundtable, called From Vision to Reality. And this is Tine Delfa. Welcome, Tine. Thank you very much for being with us today. Tine works as the Deputy Head of Unit in the Higher Education Department of the Commission's Directorate General for Education and Culture. She is fully involved in the creation and the development of the European universities and the initiative that, and she works also more generally on learning and teaching developments in the higher education sector. Before that, Tine worked in the economic department of the Secretariat General of the European Commission, where she was contributing to the work of the European Commission in areas such as the economic governance and the EU follow-up to the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And before she came to the European Commission, she was cabinet member of 2 members of parliament, of the European Parliament. And she has an academic background in economics, complemented with European affairs. I'm happy to welcome you again, Tine, and you're free to take the floor, please. I think you're muted still.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Isabella. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you all for inviting me and for being here, because for us from the Commission side, it's really a pleasure to be here at the EU-CONEXUS conference and to hear about the progress you have made and what you are doing. Because from our side, we are really grateful to have such an ambitious and enthusiastic alliance as EU-CONEXUS on board of the European Universities Initiative, as you are really pioneering and paving the way for other alliances and higher education institutions. You've really passed a very competitive selection procedure, and you are now here. You have a European university in line with the spirit of the European Universities Initiative that was created at the request of the heads of state and governments only very few years ago. You are bringing together partners from all across Europe to work on smart, urban, sustainable coastal developments, which to us is a great example on how to work together on a challenge-based approach. You really have this cross-disciplinary based approaches with vocational training, innovative educational and research methods, and you are really working on progressing the blue economy, which is really very much in line with the objectives we have at the European level on a European Green Deal. So where are you heading now? The topic of today's conference as well. European University takes time to develop. It's now really the time to implement your vision and to put it together into concrete action, and to really implement the real transformation at the levels of your institutions, well going beyond typical national or European projects. We are really convinced that the success will depend on how much you will be able to involve your students and staff as much as possible at all layers in your universities. But I think already through the program of today's event, you're already proving to very well put this into practice. And your success will, of course, obviously also depend on how to link with your regions, with your cities, with your ecosystems behind you, so to really ensure a transformative recovery. To cut it short, from the European level, we really expect European universities to bring together a new generation of students that are equipped with the skills for the future, that are able to cooperate and work on the biggest societal challenges across languages, across borders, across sectors, and across academic disciplines. And this is also what we see that eu-conexus is aiming for. From the Commission side, not only, but also from member states and other parts of the higher education sector, there are a lot of expectations on your side to really become the universities of the future. We know that it will not be easy, that the road may be bumpy at times, but you can count on the Commission and also the member states to support you. We will further engage in the rollout of the European Universities Initiative under the Erasmus program in the coming 7 years, also in synergy with the research program of the European Union and other European instruments. We understand that for the universities in a European University Alliance to have a long-term perspective, you also need, of course, clarity on the funding. And this is why we are working together with you to ensure the sustainable funding and to ensure that there is no funding gap, so that you can continue your operations. And of course, also after a thorough impact assessment of the initiative as a whole, we will also further explore a more programmatic approach to the funding of European universities. We have also well understood your need for a more enabling environment at all levels, not only within your institutions, but also at the national and the European level. This is where we are committed to support member states and the higher education institutions in creating really the conditions for allowing this more seamless and deeper cooperation between higher education institutions in Europe. To date, however, we see, and I think you are experiencing it on a daily basis, we see actually that too many of the European universities are still facing hurdles when they are implementing their deeper and more ambitious cooperation, whether it's about the pooling of courses linked to accreditation or quality assurance, or whether it's about the introduction of new flexible learning paths, about automatic recognition of study periods abroad, about more embedded mobility, whether it's about the sharing of human, digital, and physical resources and infrastructures. These are just some examples that we hear from all of you where cooperation is still not as easy as it could be. This is why we are working towards what we call a council recommendation on transnational cooperation. From the Commission, we will come forward with such a proposal for a council recommendation most likely early 2022. And the aim is really to give recommendations to member states to tackle the most pressing hurdles for transnational cooperation that you are facing. So really trying to take the lessons learned so far. At European level, we will also work on several other areas to help ease transnational cooperation. We are exploring the development of a European degree, which would be a fundamental element, really allowing for the creation of a globally recognized degree that is synonymous for innovative and transformative higher education from multiple institutions in several European countries. We are also about to explore to see whether it is needed and feasible to come forward with a legal statute for European universities alliances. As we hear from all of the alliances that this is often still also a bottleneck, that there is not an appropriate legal statute, either at national or at European level, that allows you to fully accommodate your needs. All of this would, of course, be done in full respect of institutional autonomy and the competences of member states in the field of higher education. Apart from that, we are currently also co-creating what we call a European approach to micro-credentials, which is an important element in view of the further development of higher education in life-wide learning. Micro-credentials are actually short courses leading to a tangible certification, and they are key tools to address the societal needs for upskilling and reskilling in a context of lifelong learning, and also to make the learning and teaching experiences at universities more flexible and more modular for both of the benefits of students and staff. With these initiatives that we are exploring and putting into place, we are hoping to help you further in developing your European university and to really help you to become the university of the future. So I'm looking forward to hear your views on that, and also to hear from the other panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you very much. Thank you also for your support all the way, I would say. There is always a response and always an open ear from the part of the DG EAC for all the issues that European universities have. And I think this co-creation is really working out rather well. If there is a spontaneous direct question to Tina, we can put it in here now because we've saved some time. If not, we can do it at the end, of course, for the whole roundtable, and we go immediately to the second speaker. This will be Radu Vacheranu. Radu is eu-CONEXUS governing board member and rector of the Technical University for Civil Engineering in Bucharest since 2016. He is also professor for structural viability and seismic risk analysis at UTCB, and his research interest covers mainly this seismic hazard, fragility, and risk analysis. Radu Vacheranu has participated in a lot of international projects and coordinated national projects aiming at seismic risk reduction. And he is also vice president of the European Association of Earthquake Engineering, national delegate of Romania at the International Association for Earthquake Engineering, and executive president of the National Commission for Earthquake Engineering of the Ministry of Development, Public Works and Administration in Romania. Radu, let us hear what eu-conexus is for UTCB and will be.
Thank you so much, Isabella. I'm really very excited about participating here today and sharing some of my thoughts related to what eu-conexus shall be in a couple of years from now on. I prepared the presentation, but I will deviate a little bit from the presentation because Tina mentioned it's about a road, okay? And she mentioned it's a bumpy road. But we have an excellent driver, Jean-Marc. We have an excellent co-pilot, Isabella, and we are very diligent passengers. During the bumpy road, we buckled up and now the road is not bumpy. The road is very straightforward. And also, you mentioned about co-creation of these European universities. So the European Commission, first of all, and the European Council showed us the way. Okay, so you have to move towards that direction. And we started really pioneers in the first round of European universities. And now, during the road, we provide feedback to the Commission, and the Commission is taking care about this feedback, because Tina mentioned a lot of issues we identified, and the Commission is addressing these issues and will solve these issues. So for me, I would like to start from the global mission, okay? This global mission of eu-conexus, for me in the beginning, it was like a dream, like a wish list, okay? But little by little, I noticed that it's like a checklist before flying the airplane, okay? Because on our road, we check, this is checked, this is checked, this is checked. There are a lot of things ahead of us, but I think in the medium run, we see the end of the road, and with the, let's say, with the very good environment we have within this eu-conexus alliance, and with a very strong support both at European level and national level, then we'll end up to the end of the road with this mission fully accomplished. And we have to think about the new mission in the long run, okay? But let's come back to the medium run. You said from vision to reality. Okay, we are halfway. We are halfway in the first, let's say, round, okay? Because there will be many rounds from now on, because we are an alliance here to stay, not an alliance for a very short term. And the political vision, I'm talking not only on the behalf of the university, I'm talking about on the behalf of the rectors in the governing board, because Jean-Marc mentioned that we have a very good chemistry there, and we see, let's say, the road and the passes to be followed in the same way. So I think that on the behalf of the members of the governing board, I might say that the political vision of eu-conexus is fully aligned with the vision and ambitions of the European Union, and also fully aligned with the, let's say, individual ambitions of the 6+3 universities, because you know that we started this bumpy road with 6, but now we are 9, and we are very proud about enlarging this alliance. So what do we have in mind? And I put some bold letters here: to become a global leader on the topic perfectly identified. It's blue economy, blue growth. So we need something addressing this blue economy and blue growth. So we have a very good position to become a global leader in research and higher education as well. We are aiming at common European degrees, and we started, and we are on this way to European degrees, common European degrees. And for sure, as I mentioned, with support from European level and national level, this will be solved. We are very much eager to move to open science, okay? And in my vision, eu-conexus is a pillar for our universities to become stronger, because we can take advantage of the strengths of the whole alliance. No university in this alliance might say, okay, we have all the credits to say that smart urban coastal sustainability, it is within our realm. But putting together the strengths, indeed, it is within the realm of eu-conexus. Now, what are you looking for further on? To provide new profiles of graduates with enhanced employment opportunities, to respond to the needs of the society and of the economy in the medium run. We are not aiming at the long run so far, because in the long run, I think that the transformations will be so unpredictable that we cannot aim for the long run, but at least for the medium run, I think that we have the proper vision and will provide widespread skills to our graduates. CONEXUS will become more connected at the global level, and the European values will be addressed and fully in line with the higher education priorities of the European Commission. Finally, I'll say some words about my university, but I think that this is valid for everybody. So our university, the main focus is in civil engineering. Okay, so for sure, civil engineering is a very important part of the issue of smart urban coastal sustainability. But as I mentioned, we cannot address the whole. And let's say the present science teaches us that if we don't address the whole, if we don't have a holistic approach, we can solve some problems here and ruin some problems, or have some problems over there. Having this consortium of universities, having the strengths of all the members of the academic communities and administrative communities of our university, we can holistically address the hot issue of smart urban coastal sustainability. And finally, just a few words, 1 minute more. I think that, okay, I exceed a little bit the time, but we have, I mentioned about communities. We have academic staff, we have students, we have administration staff. So I'm very happy to see that the community is building up, let's say the whole community. First, we started with academic staff. Immediately after, we have the students. And now we have also the administrative part coming along, because we cannot have a single university if not all these parts are integrated. Thank you so much, and sorry for very little.
No, thank you very much, Radu. No, it was a very good input there. Thank you very much. And it is a perfect transition to the next speaker, because this is where Cecile O'Brien will take the floor and tell us more about how vision and reality can the reality can follow up on the vision in more operational terms, giving sustainability and stability to an alliance as we are. I introduced Cécile shortly. She is a Deputy General Manager for La Rochelle University since March 2021. And she's in charge of support functions, including finance, human resources, IT at La Rochelle University. She knows eu-conexus very well because she used to be chief of staff and contributed to the strategic projects and priorities of the presidential team from 2018 on. And before that, she worked 1 year in developing public and private partnerships for La Rochelle University. So she is a very large experience and very valuable experience also for our alliance. Previously also, just to mention it, she has also been working in the private sector as a manager as a director for a nursing home and in project management for several big companies. So Cécile, we are lucky to have you, and I give you the floor for your insights.
Okay, thank you, Isabella. Good afternoon, everybody. Is the screen okay for you? Can you see the slide? Yes, okay, thank you very much. So yes, the idea here was to give you an additional vision of this idea of bringing eu-conexus from vision to reality. And of course, the role of general management is often that, trying to bring things to reality and make things happen. So we prepared this presentation with Yannick Joly, who is general manager at La Rochelle University, and he also consulted quite a few other general managers from the French network of general managers. So what we are trying to introduce here are a few notions that were shared with other general managers. So, well, first of all, so that's where the connection is with what Radu just presented. The question of bringing things to reality is related to how far you want to go and how ambitious the model is. And as Radu just reminded us, and I think we are very aware of that, eu-conexus has a very ambitious model. This is not only about developing student mobility, of course, it's really developing one and comprehensive university that encompasses every type of activity and every type of service a university can offer, may it be to students, researchers, or the society as a whole. So, of course, this very ambitious model has many impacts and involves many changes to undertake. And that's the first difference we notice between different models of other European universities. The complexity will, of course, grow with the scope. And I think the level of complexity of question that we face today within eu-conexus reflects the ambition that the project has as a whole. So the challenges are important and multiple. Tine underlines all the challenges related to the environment, being connected to the academic, regional, private sectors. All those connections are very important, but we also believe that there are many challenges within each university, and the most important of which would probably be our capacity to involve and motivate staff at all levels. In some university, I'm not talking about eu-conexus now only, we can unfortunately say that sometimes it's mostly a project team that's involved in the European University. So the challenge there is really to get all the staff, all the services, all the research labs, training departments, to make everybody aboard and to make them feel that they're part of this new story, new part of the story. And so the levers for that, for our ability to motivate staff, are very important. Another important challenge is that the more we learn about each other, the more we can see that we are not exactly the same. Of course, we want to go in the same direction. We share our ambitions, our aims. We even share the way we want to go there. But then it doesn't work the same way. You have to go through this or that governing board in this area. The rules and regulations aren't the same. The organization is not the same. The ability to decide and implement new aspects are very different. And so I really think that the more we work together, the more differences, the more we learn about each other, the more differences we find, which is really interesting because we can also use all those differences to try and work in better ways in each of our universities. In each of our working groups, we learn a lot about what is done abroad in other universities. So, so we've been talking about that with Isabella too, and we really believe that going further, studying further how governance and organizations are organized in each university is an important step to go through. Last very general remark on those challenges. As I told you, we consulted other general managers from other big universities in France and noticed that unfortunately, most of the time they are not involved in the project itself. They know very little about what's going on, and if they're not involved, they cannot bring aboard all the services, staff and administration. So fortunately, our general manager, Yannick Joly, is very involved, and we really believe that this is a key success factors for European universities as a whole. Come to priorities now. Well, there are quite a few things that have been mentioned before. I won't go back into details through the double diplomas, tuition fees and things like that. Those, just to underline, those first obstacle hurdles, as Team A called them, we need to overcome them, because it's not just a way of getting through what we want to get done. It's also a way of proving to the community that it's possible, that this is not just an idea, it's actually happening, it's actually real. Here's what you can benefit from. So priority would be going through those obstacles. Second priority is well, what I called keeping the big picture. Of course, there's this very big ambition, and then there's the reality. We have 8 working groups originally. I think there's 16 today, maybe more even. Each working group is tackling one particular issue, one or many particular issues, and trying to make things happen. The risk that we would need to avoid, and we believe that involving general management can help avoid those risks, is trying to keep things working together, avoid fragmentation, avoid starting this or that particular tool over there and then maybe another one in the other angle. So keeping things working together is something that, of course, the eu-CONEXUS project management staff has been working on since the very beginning, keeping all this very consistent. But if you want to make it work throughout a whole big university, you will also have to go and get all the resources and bring them to work together on those issues. And so there's also an issue there, and this is maybe a message for the European Commission too, to stabilize and give long-term perspective to the European university staff. They're all right now project managers. This is more than a project, it's a vision, as we said, it's somewhere we want to head to. So giving them a longer term perspective, making them part of permanent staff, enabling permanent staff to come aboard and work on those projects too is also a way of ensuring stability and success to the project. I didn't mention it, but I will very quickly just underline the issue of training our staff to English. We have to admit and to notice that many people in our universities weren't working in foreign languages before. They didn't need it on a daily basis. They were local specialists. This has to change, of course, and it's not easy. It demands a lot of tools to help them to do that. So training in English, of course, is important, but eu-CONEXUS is working on many other tools such as staff mobility, staff weeks, job shadowings. All those things are very important because they will bring the cultural side to learn and to know about how the others can work. And just a few more ideas to conclude. We do believe that it's very important to work more together on this European University ambitions. Creating a network of general managers associated with governance and presidents would also be a way of sharing our experiences, sharing the solutions we were able to find, and also get the whole system to be very well known, renowned, and attractive to students, of course, to researchers, and to staff. That's something important too. And working together transnationally on a few important topics. I just gave a few examples here. If we just take human resources, we've been starting to work on that, and we really need transnational policies to be able to go further on those aspects. So in the long term, there's a lot that can be seen and that we can be happy to go for, hoping that we can, maybe we will have joint service structures, integrated career paths, to be able to do recruitments together, to be able to offer professorships together, and also have common strategic governance tools. This is something that we have to build together and bring to reality pretty soon now. Preserving, meanwhile, institutional autonomy, but really giving a common structure to our mission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cécile. There are a lot of ideas, a lot of work also ahead of us. But I think we have a lot of already good wills and good people around to take on all these ambitions. I open now the floor for anybody who wants to add to these insights, to these inputs. Please do not hesitate to speak up also if you want. If not, you can also, of course, ask a question in the chat or ask a simple question also orally. And does anybody want to add something or ask a question? Who will be the first? Tine?
Yeah, I was putting on my camera, but yeah, Isabella, you know that we are rather in frequent touch, but I think I heard already from Radu and from Cécile. I already heard some requests also with regard to the need for long-term perspective from your side. So I can confirm that Isabella has raised this issue already several times in our co-creation meetings. So this point is very much taken, and we as mentioned, we're working hard to try to make it happen, both from a financial level and also more on the policy level with some initiatives that we are taking. So we're working hard to make that happen. So point taken.
Thank you, Tine. Any other input?
If I can just add a quick comment, it's really good to hear that from the European Commission, this long-term perspective. Because we really need to shift from the project perspective to the university perspective. And I'm afraid some people still believe this is a project, one project among other projects, whereas we all know here around the table that we're building a lot more than just a project. So, and long-term perspective is really a way of making this shift.
Indeed, right, I can only confirm. Yeah, I can only confirm this if I may, because, for example, in our vocabulary, you will never. Normally, you should never catch us in using the word project when we talk about European universities. This is on the list of forbidden words for us to use, because for us, this is really not a project. Of course, we have provided a seed funding through a project-based approach from the Erasmus Plus program, but this is where indeed we are working after an impact assessment of the initiative to change this approach. But really, indeed, if ever you need support on this, for us, the European Universities Initiative and the selected European universities, you are not a project. This is really a long-term vision, and we feel indeed that eu-conexus is really along the same lines and going to that road. But Radu, apologies, I think I interrupted you as well.
No. Is that just to say that maybe in the beginning it was the project, but now it is the university. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it was,
as you mentioned, it is a forbidden word. Maybe it should be a forbidden word for us as well. But for the time being, it is the project. Thanks.
Isabella, may I?
yes, please.
Yes, thank you to all of you for your contributions. I would like to ask Tine something. Actually, when the European Commission launched this call for projects, initially it was a call for project for European alliances. The idea was to support some large set of diversity concerning the different alliances that were going to be submitted. And being in France, I'm discussing with my friends, rectors, who are also involved in European alliances, and I can see that there is a large variety of vision concerning what should be these European alliances in the long term. For La Rochelle, for eu-CONEXUS in the global, as you could hear when you are listening to Radu and Cécile, we are aiming at becoming a real university, a real European university. And from that point of view, I would like to ask you how you are going to manage in the future the diversity of alliances which are being built. Because by discussing with my friends in France, I know that for some of them, this is one project among some other projects. But for eu-CONEXUS, it's not a project, it's a university. So in the long term, the willingness of the different alliances will be probably a bit different depending on the ambition that all the rectors, the governing boards would like to carry. And for eu-CONEXUS, for instance, if we go further concerning what Radu and Cécile said, we would like to develop a vision concerning an economic model, a human resource management at the European level, a scientific policy management. But from your side, I think that you will probably face a very large set of diversity of vision with some universities who would like to stay as a kind of federation of universities sharing some objects, and some of the objects like ours who would like to really become an integrated object. So I would like to understand how you are going to manage all these this variety of vision concerning the different projects which are being developed in Europe now, if it's possible.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Jean-Marc, for this interesting question. Because indeed, what you are explaining is not new to us. We are indeed experiencing different visions from the different alliances, and this was honestly also what we had expected with the European Universities Initiative. We had, when we launched it, we co-created it with the sector and together with the member states. We had put together an overall vision of what a European university should be, and this was the basis for the launch of the call for proposals that was issued late 2018. But we never aimed it to be a top-down approach where we would dictate from the European level how you should cooperate together. This is indeed where now we see that different models are evolving. You have indeed the ones like you are pursuing, the very integrated ones, where you are trying to transcend the individual universities and seeing really how you can come to this really integrated European university, whereas others they see it more in a step-by-step process, and they do not necessarily have yet the same endpoint as you have it in mind now. But for us, we only had I think you are now almost 2 years ahead in your implementation. The new 24 alliances that started only last summer. So we are really still very much at the start of this initiative. So this is also where, from the Commission side, we would like to test different models available. So so a priori, we do not have a preferred option of how to work together. We want to learn from the different models to see what can work, what doesn't work that well, what could be better. So in that sense, we know that there are different level of ambitions on different aspects, because of course a European university has different layers, and not all alliances go as far on each and every layer. Some may be very ambitious on one particular side, others more on others. Other European universities try to really combine. So this is where we really want to learn from the experiences in the coming periods, as now we are still very much at the start of the process in our view. I hope this clarifies somewhat.
Thank you very much for this very open-minded approach. It replies to my question. Thank you. But are you waiting from us some proposals concerning the organization, the economic model, the human resource management? Since you are talking about the respect of the diversity, which is very good, the kind of mix between bottom-up and top-down approach, are you waiting from us to suggest you some kind of or new organizations?
Well, if you are now talking more on possible legal formats that you know, a very much integrated European university could have, just to inform you that we are already in touch with several of the alliances, also with eu-CONEXUS. We actually had a meeting earlier this week even to discuss, and the aim is that we would really see together indeed with the alliances what is currently already ongoing, what are the needs, and whether indeed at the European level we need to come forward with a European tool, or whether we can fine-tune existing tools. So in that sense, I have the feeling that the cooperation is already going rather well, and I think Isabella and her colleagues from other alliances have already very well voiced their needs. So we are taking it forward from there, but our intention is indeed to keep the alliances involved very much also in this co-creation process.
Yes, I can confirm that there is a fluid communication process going on, and all developments taken at the European level, at the European DG-EAC level, and also the DG-RTT had asked for feedback from the European alliances regularly, and so I think this interaction is, and the co-creation is working very well. There is, for the moment, we are in a study phase, in a very study phase where everything is opened up, and there is nothing very finalized. There is no finalized instrument or instruments not finalized, and I think this is the situation where we are in right now. And I think inputs from all sides are welcome on all sides also. So I would like to close here the discussion and move on to the second round table. If there is nothing, I see nothing in the chat. Christelle, there's nothing in the YouTube chat. Okay, so then we can move on, and I will hand over the moderation of the second round table to Neringa Nabutiene. Neringa is eu-CONEXUS Management Board member and project manager at the eu-CONEXUS University, Universidad Católica de Valencia. Please, Neringa, take the floor.
Thank you, Isabella. Good afternoon, all. Could you start sharing our slides, please?
Yes.
And it is my pleasure to moderate the short roundtable on the innovations in studies. And today, together with Anna and Vasiliki, we will discuss a few aspects where and how eu-CONEXUS could use its potential and synergies in the transformation of studies. Today with me is Ana de Luis Margarit, who is the chair of eu-CONEXUS Academic Council, also the professor and the dean of veterinary and experimental sciences at the Universidad Católica de Valencia. She holds a PhD in molecular biology from Université de Strasbourg, and her research focuses in environmental genomics. Good afternoon, Ana.
Hello, Neringa, everybody. Bonjour à tous.
And Vasiliki Despiniade, who is the fourth year student at Agricultural University of Athens and the member of EU-CONEXUS Student Board, member of the ESN AUA Athens section, active volunteer and a prospective young researcher. Her specific interest is in genetics and marine biotechnology. So, young colleague of Anna DeLuise. Good afternoon, Vasiliki.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
So let's start the discussion. Next slide, please. As Tina Delva has presented in the previous roundtable.
Sorry.
Yeah. In 2020, the European Council identified the initiatives that are building the European education area. European universities, European degree, micro-credentials, enhanced quality assurance, and digitalized processes through Erasmus without papers shall lead to closer trans-border cooperation and synergies in higher education. Enhancement of transversal digital entrepreneurship skills, innovative pedagogies, and closer links between studies, research, and society to upgrade and upskill European education area together. Next slide. And we all must acknowledge that since 2019, EU-CONEXUS has reached significant results to respond to this agenda, and at the same time to strengthen the international competitiveness of each individual member university and of the alliance as such. 2 joint minor programs have been launched in spring semester of 2021 academic year, have pooled the expertise of the universities and enable the curricular interdisciplinarity and personalization. Joint master program in marine biotechnology with joint curricula, management, teaching collaboration, embedded mobility, and automatic qualification recognition has been created and accredited using European approach. We have this tool since 5 years, but it is not working yet. So with all our initiatives, we are also in collaboration with the national governments, ministries, we are changing the European education area, making all the tools work. Right now, the Alliance is working how to overcome the burdens towards international joint PG program and to increase the public awareness of the sex thematics. And you will hear later on about the initiative with the schools. But let's look forward, Anna. So in the next stage, where would be the emphasis of close and deeper academic cooperation between our universities to be a competitive alliance of the European education area?
Thank you very much, Neringa. Please, next slide, Isabella. Thank you. So first, it is important to set our goals and to explain what is the eu-CONEXUS midterm vision. We want to be a unique European higher education institution constructed around smart urban coastal sustainability challenges. We want to offer innovative and professionalizing teaching, multi and cross-disciplinary education for a better society, and this refers to an initial will from the European Commission to be able to develop professionals able to address multidisciplinary challenges in Europe through this initiative of European universities. We also want to offer student-centered programs with flexible curriculum, so that the students are able to build their own careers. We also want to be a community, a translational community that promotes inclusion at all levels and also cultural integration. We want to, as European University, to promote smart urban coastal sustainability in schools and society and promote social engagement in this area. And also to be an excellence higher education institution that is able to attract students, international students worldwide. So this is our vision. Let's see how we want to do this in the midterm. So next slide, please, Isabella. Thank you. So first, on top of all the advances from the last 2 years that Neringa was mentioning before, we want to become a true European university with a global academic offer at all levels, bachelor, master, PhD, but also to include flexible programs like Tina Delva mentioned before, like micro-credentials for the upskilling and reskilling of students during their time in university, but also after their time at university. We want to promote challenge-based and research-based learning and hands-on teaching. This is something that has been explored very much in detail in the joint master program in marine biotechnology that has been recently accredited through the European approach and will start in September 2022. But this is something we think that is important to apply to other programs that we are constructing at the moment. Also, we want to promote what I said before about cultural integration. We want to promote blended mobilities. So new types of mobilities that will allow the students and the eu-conexus players in general to participate in different activities that are beyond the classical Erasmus several months stays in other universities. So this is something we want to promote in the midterm. Then multilingualism is also very important to us. We have a working team on this, and we are expecting to introduce in the short term actions to implement multilingualism in some of our programs. We also want to produce or generate a digital learning environment that is able to enhance student exchange, not only when the students are present with the professor, but also to able to interact offline and to really generate a virtual learning and student interaction community. Another very important aspect of our offer, the offer we are now developing and would like to develop further in the midterm, is the cooperation with industry through the establishing of living labs, for example, our platform for university to industry and other initiatives, and also the inclusion of industrial partners into the teaching and the training in our programs to be able to nurture new talents in the sector. Then, as Neringa mentioned before, to raise smart urban coastal sustainability awareness in the public, we are developing a university to school program that we would like to enhance and promote in the next years. And we also think that the inclusion of our associated partners and the enhanced cooperation between all partners will allow us to grow in further in all these objectives we have. And next slide, please. Thank you, Isabella. So on top of this, in the midterm, so I was discussing about what we want to be and what are the actions we want to undertake. But in the midterm, we would also like to think out of the box regarding smart urban coastal sustainability and try to generate programs and knowledge in all senses that imply this sector of the smart urban coastal sustainability. We have 4 interdisciplinary study dimensions in eu-CONEXUS: environment and biodiversity, energy and sustainable construction, culture, society, organization, education, and digital transformation. And in these first years of eu-CONEXUS, we are exploring some of the sub-areas that are assigned to these interdisciplinary study dimensions. We believe that with the interaction of all partners and associated partners, we're going to address topics that are directly or indirectly related to smart urban coastal sustainability, where we will be able to find very relevant synergies and to generate programs with added value for the society. And next slide, please. Thank you. And in the process, we would like to align to key initiatives from the European Commission, as our colleague Tina said before. First, on micro-credentials, we believe that some of our ongoing initiatives within CONEXUS can be transformed or adapted in some way to this new concept of short courses that have as I said before, that gives specialization to students and also to professionals. And next slide, please, Isabella. And lastly, there's another initiative that also Tina Delva mentioned, the European degree. We are eager to know the results of this European Commission initiative, whose final report is expected on December 2021, because we would like to contribute to try to adapt our programs to this new concept that is still in progress. As it is said in some meetings we are attending regarding this area, is first the name, then the definition. So now the definition is in progress, and we are really eager to know what the outcome is going to be, so that we can be part of this new concept that is going to be out very, very soon. Thank you very much, Neringa.
Thank you, Anna. Mil gracias. Vasiliki, you are one of the first students studying at EU-CONEXUS minor program. And we do hope that you are enriching your personal study curricula and acquiring interdisciplinary, multicultural linguistic skills. So how would you like to benefit from studying at European University EU-CONEXUS? 9 different universities, different campuses, 9 different countries. How do you want to study and get something different in the future as a student, and then later on as a European professional?
Thank you so much, Neringa, for this opportunity. In this semester, I attended the minor program in Blue Economy and Growth, specifically the course of Production of Biomass for Blue Applications from La Rochelle Université. It was a great experience to have virtual mobility during these difficult times. And it was a great opportunity to meet students from other European universities and exchange not only information, but culture too. It was a little difficult because everything was online, but we managed. So continuing, first of all, some of the students' perspectives we have for the future.
Isabella, please, next slide.
Next slide, yeah. Thank you. As students, besides everything we already experienced from the first semester at the EU-CONEXUS, we would like, most importantly, to improve our collaboration and skills in general, because helping students acquire and develop valuable soft skills like communicating and listening carefully are very important in the workplace and in everyday life in general. And also with collaborative projects, students not only get a chance to know each other better, but they have a global point of view and are prepared to work in any environment, especially in an international one, even at the undergraduate level or after at the professional level. Continuing, another thing that we as students would like to see more, but is already mentioned today, we're happy about this, is connecting with industries and the labor market, specifically having a chance to get in touch early on with the related industries and have inside views of how it all works out will be a great opportunity for everyone involved. And also getting informed about the needs of the labor market and how the students can use their studies and skills to benefit and contribute would be really good. So in the last slide, we have made a suggestion that has been already vocalized to have teachers and companies experts from all the 9 countries during our studies to support our knowledge about different problems in the same field or industrial sector and learn more about the labor market of these 9 countries. So the last ideas we have gathered today for the future perspectives of us students is either have a virtual intercampus that includes all the 9 universities, including the associated partners, and also maybe have the ability to choose courses from the academic catalogs of the associated partners from Cyprus, Germany, and Ireland. And lastly, of course, because there are so many different European countries involved in the eu-conexus, it would be a great opportunity to have either summer schools or different levels to learn a new language if a student wants to. And that's all I wanted to add today. Thank you, and we're hopeful for the future.
Thank you, Vasiliki. Eucharisto. You have emphasized a lot labor market, future careers, the skills that are transversal. Unfortunately, in this roundtable, we do not have employers saying what they need, but maybe we will get some questions or comments from the audience, and in a minute we can open up the floor for the discussion and comments. Meanwhile, Anna, how your vision of future innovations in studies and encompasses Vasiliki's expectations? Transversal skills, different short courses, multicultural experiences.
Thank you very much, Neringa. Yes, so regarding multicultural experiences, it is true that the pandemic in the last couple of years has made it very difficult to organize some activities that were expected to be organized. So we believe that in the midterm, we are going to be able to generate these activities so that the student exchanges that really make up the concept of the sense of belonging to the European University can be developed. So I hope in the next years we're going to be able to respond to this genuine need that you have from the student side. Regarding soft skills and collaborative projects, there is the need. We have identified the need to promote within the international courses we have in our minors the possibility to enable activities or projects that are shared between international students, so that they promote in some way the interactions between the students at the academic level. So this is something that will help both to develop your soft skills, but also to allow you to interact among each other. And soft skills are also we believe that they're very important. And our will is in the programs we have already organized, and we are now organizing, and we have in the midterm and long term to dedicate a part of the education to the soft skills, because we know it's very important for your employability. And also regarding the contact with the industry, in the both the minor, I'm talking now about the ongoing programs, but of course our idea is to promote this in the next program that we're going to organize. But the contact with industry has been a priority, and in many of the minor courses we are involving professionals to be able to have contact with the students. So this is and also in the master program as well, in the Master of Marine Biotechnology as well, and the Master in Smart Urban Coastal Sustainability that we're now working on. The idea is to implicate the industry players in all levels of education, so that you can take the chance of knowing the professional sector in firsthand, and also get all this direct feedback from the industry needs and at the employability level.
Okay, thank you. I was looking for some comments and questions in the chats on both platforms. Nothing so far. Anything? Somebody would like to make a comment? Was the microphone open? Maybe somebody else from the students, or maybe we have stakeholders from the companies or ministries or public organizations. Well, if not, so maybe we can close this roundtable just on time. And thank you, Anna and Vasiliki, for sharing your thoughts. And I wish you a very fruitful work in the future outside this 3 years first stage of building European University and tighter cooperation between the academics and the students to reach these ambitious goals. Isabella?
Thank you, Neringa. Thank you very much, Anna and Vasiliki. I will go on immediately to the third roundtable. I call for Laura Delvaux, member of the eu-conexus coordination team, management board, and who will take on the moderation of the third roundtable and introduce the subject and the speakers. Please, Laura.
Thank you, Isabella. Hello to everyone. This third roundtable will refer to the outreach aspects of eu-conexus and present its future development regarding technology and innovation transfer. Our European University opens up opportunities to develop a joint research area and become a recognized hub on expertise on the smart urban coastal sustainability topics with inter and multidisciplinary research and innovation. In order to do so, eu-conexus has already implemented some tools and activities under what we call work package number 4, led by Agricultural University of Athens. The goal is to increase the research cooperation between researchers of our alliance. We also open up opportunities to bridge the gap between the socio-economic world and the university to increase the university-industry cooperation. We have implemented a public and corporate relation unit coordinated by UTCB, our Romanian partner, that has already implemented a mentoring platform to guide the students in their career, an eu-conexus career center who has organized some stakeholders meetings and events, and who has helped to conduct a skills map survey with more than 400 respondents from the socioeconomic world. We also aim at developing closer relation with public authorities to impact our public policy on smart urban coastal sustainability topics, as well with general public to raise the awareness on such topics. We have a newly started project called Research for Society, co-funded by Horizon 2020, and which will develop further this research and innovation framework by the exchange of good practices, development of common policies and roadmaps, the deeper transformation of our institutions, and by the implementation of one window, one-stop shop for research and innovation to better reach the outside world. To strategically lead this development, a newly formed research council has been implemented, whose members are vice rectors for research and innovation from the universities of our alliance. This council is chaired by Darius Donis from Klaipėda University, who is one of our guests today in this roundtable, with Danica Ramliak and Luca Sebastian Pazare. So our first speaker is Danica Ramliak. She is Senior Science and Innovation Expert at the World Bank and External Advisory Board member of the EU-CONEXUS Alliance, as well as the CEU Alliance. Danica provides expertise in science, innovation, and commercialization of knowledge in institutions for higher education and research. Since 2012, she has worked on the World Bank funded projects all over the world. She has a career spanning more than 3 decades, and she has served on faculty at the School of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Zagreb, where she has graduated in 1992, as postdoc in the United States in the National Institutes of Health or National Cancer Institute. She has been a visiting scientist at the Russell Research Center in Athens, and she has worked as senior researcher at the Croatian Veterinary Institute in Zagreb, as well as researcher and faculty member at Georgetown University Lombardi Cancer Center until 2004. Danica has also held the position of Director General of the Croatian Life Science Institute, and she has been working with the Croatian ministries for World Bank projects as well with the government for the preparation of the smart specialization strategy in 2015. Danica, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. It is a really great pleasure to be with you today, and I'm enjoying the presentations that we heard so far. Obviously, it was very interesting to see, the vision that you guys have. Although, as Isabella asked me to be short, because the topic of university as an engine transforming science into innovation and commercialization is huge. And I'm going to be here within the 5 to 6 minutes. So next slide, please. If you focus on the right side, universities have triple role. One role is education, to provide people with the right skills for the society. Obviously, research and development. So research part is not only for the sake of publications, but also it is for quality of research, particularly doctoral students. And then you have a third mission of university, which is bringing back to the society through the knowledge transfer and innovation development and commercialization processes. So these are three things to keep in mind. Obviously today I'm going to just touch upon some things, but I will give you some flavor on where the European Union countries, including our countries, Croatia and other 5 members of EU-CONEXUS, stand when it comes to innovation, because it's very important. Universities are working within the ecosystem, and you will see in a minute. Then I will talk about the importance of national innovation ecosystem for your work. Then we'll touch upon important European Union policies for innovation that I would recommend you should review. And then I'll provide you some additional recommendations. Next slide, Isabella, please. Okay, just like a week ago, less than a week ago, the European Commission issued EU Innovation Scoreboard for 2021. Each year, the Commission has indicators, and each EU member state is essentially assessed for its innovation potential. And of course, universities are big contributors to this scoreboard. But if I don't have time to go in details for your 6 states, but I can tell you that, states are divided in emerging innovators, moderate innovators, strong innovators, innovation leaders. For the last, let's say, 5 to 6 years, Nordic countries in Europe are innovation leaders. And France, obviously, is, when it comes to your alliance, the strongest leader in innovation. So it's important that later on in your planning and exchange of knowledge, that you keep this in mind. Next slide, please. What is important is that European competes with the rest of the world. And Europe has improved its innovation output when you compare 2021 to 2020 by 12.5%. Europe is performing much better than its competitors like China, Brazil, South Africa, Russia, and India. However, Europe is lagging behind South Korea, Canada, Australia, United States, and Japan. Next slide, please. Why this is important? It is important to know where our continent belongs when it comes to the rest of the world, because obviously there are issues in Europe that are very important to consider, like demographic losses. Like when you go in Africa, and I work in African countries are catching up big time. The rest of the world is striving not only to have high quality universities, but to have very huge activities in innovation and commercialization of knowledge. But the good news is, when you look at the EU-CONEXUS, your 6 states, 5 member states witness improvement this year in performance of 25 percentage points, which is huge. And I'm glad to see that Greece and Lithuania are among those. For Croatia, also, we have some good news. 4 member states had performance improvement between 15 and 25%, and Croatia is among those. Next slide, please. Before we dive into other parts of the topic, it is important for all of us to understand that the national innovation ecosystem of each country has its specificities. If you focus on the left, where there is, education and training system where universities belong, obviously you could appreciate that national innovation system is much more than universities. There are research centers, there is a private sector, there are investors. So it's a huge system, and of course, ministries, of course, policymakers. So this is a very important, I would say, almost like an orchestra, everybody playing its own tune. So it is very important that universities and that your alliance looks around and really sees which are the players that you should pay attention to. And I'm sure you do that already. Next slide, please. Obviously, when it comes for funding, European Commission is forefront, in funding innovation, and you are already familiar very much, and I'm not going to spend time on that, with Horizon Europe, which is a key funding program for research and innovation with a budget of 95.5 billion, which is not small amount of money. But pay attention in particular for the Pillar 3, Innovative Europe, where European Institute for Technology contributes to achieving the 4 strategic orientations. And these are very important points that you should keep in mind when you design your future activities. The plan includes the strengthening sustainable innovation ecosystem across Europe. Of course, we want countries not to differ so much. Fostering development of entrepreneurial and innovation skills in lifelong learning perspective. And this is something for you as a take-home message: support the entrepreneurial transformation of European universities and bringing solutions to global society challenges to the market. Next, please. There are 3 more policies you should pay attention: European Green Deal, Digital Compass, and EU updated industrial strategy. Review them and make yourself, some members of your team, familiar with it when you develop your joint future activities. Next slide. This is a very important, very important initiative that European Institute of Innovation and Technology just recently published, and I think you should pay huge attention to this. This is an initiative that essentially addresses how the innovation will be boosted at institutions of higher education. This document I read, it's quite interesting, and if you have opportunity as advisor to your network, I'll be glad at some point to discuss, but please review it yourself as well. Next slide. Another very strategic and important document is European Parliament's strategy that has been adopted on May 20th, 2021. It is Strategic Innovation Agenda of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology from 21 to 27, so for the next funding period, boosting the innovation talent and capacity of Europe and repelling decisions. So another document to review. Next slide. Okay, this is my final slide because this topic is huge, but I just felt to give you flavor on what you should be paying attention to. And maybe during discussion, we can touch upon some things of your interest. First of all, it is very important that you make sure that your policymakers in your countries that are part of your network have and continuously strive to improve the functional innovation ecosystem. However, universities themselves, each one of you participating in this network, should be developing innovation ecosystem of your own institution. You need to also strive to have high quality institutional governance. This is very important. One thing that obviously, if you didn't already, but I could recommend as under B, setting up EU-CONEXUS innovation policy priorities. And essentially, you could develop a document that can outline this, which is joint innovation strategy. Then under C, we have something which is, of course, essential, which is availability of innovation commercialization support instruments. So each member of the alliance should be absolutely familiar what is available not only at European level for the joint activities, but also at their national level, so they could use this for lobbying their own governments and ministries to bring things on board into alliance. So these funding instruments are very crucial, and it's important to have them from like basic research up to applied research to prototyping up to the further development. And there is entire, I would say, scale how you can take your project up from prototype up to commercialization and market readiness. Well, it is important, as I was really glad that when you mentioned about the Research and for Society project, that you build your universities, that the culture is going to have all the right, I would say, prerequisites for innovation, development, entrepreneurship. Develop entrepreneurial curricula at your universities. If you didn't, consider one. And I think joint one might be the way to go. Obviously, you need to strengthen human capital for research and innovation. Some of you do have technology transfer offices. Some of you have them on paper. Maybe they're not so functional. That's something you should strengthen big time. Because those people with the right capacity to provide you technology transfer support are going to be essential in helping you to do this, commercialization aspect. Obviously, your infrastructure is very important, not only for research, but for innovation as well. So developing research infrastructure roadmap is a key thing. So you should align, and have like a roadmap that all universities will be producing and providing what they have available towards this joint goal. And of course, knowledge and practice exchange between not only EU-CONEXUS universities, but international one. I would recommend look upon Nordic countries. Try Aalto University, for example. When I was visiting University of Nairobi in Kenya, I found the Aalto University students and professors exchanging innovation project knowledge together. So I recommend that network should look upon some of the universities that are leading in Europe in this aspect or elsewhere, and make, link your alliance to them. And of course, at the end, I would like to close. It is very important, and quite often as a scientist and somebody focused on so many things, we forget, and that is impact analysis. What did you accomplish, and what are your developed success indicators that you will be, using to monitor your success? With that in mind, I really thank you very much, and it is, I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Danica. Thank you for your interesting presentation. I think that we are already answering some of your points, so I'm really happy about that. And I think that Darius will present some points also on his presentation. He's our next speaker. So Darius Donis is Vice Rector for Science and Innovation at Klaipėda University. He started his career at Klaipėda University as laboratory technician, defended his PhD in 2001 on the ecology of seabed communities and the role of invasive species in the largest European lagoon. Since then, he was working as seabed ecologist in waters near Spitsbergen, White Sea, Adriatic Sea, and different parts of the Baltic Sea. He was coordinating several national and international projects on on human effects to the seabed environment, conservation of marine habitats, and management of marine protected sites. And for many years, he's giving lecture on biostatistics and ecology of marine landscapes and habitats at Klaipėda University. He was also visiting lecturer at Parma University and University of Algarve. And he has been recently elected chair of the Research Council of EU-CONEXUS. So Darius, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Laura. I'm trying to share the screen. I hope that you can see it now in the full mode. It was good to have done it so beforehand. So there's plenty of suggestions for our alliance, how we should move into the innovation field. But I would like to start from where we are now. And of course, when we talk about the research and innovation, we are basically talking about the work package 4 of our ongoing project led by Agricultural University of Athens. And then also, when it comes to innovation, it's mainly about the Research for Society project in work package 5 or 4, I guess. It's basically devoted to the innovation and the technology transfer issues. Yeah, where we are now is basically trying to summarize. Our alliance was quite consistent, I would say, in the proposal stage of the CONEXUS, that we started trying to bring the research together first, and then to move to commercialization and technology transfer issues at the second stage with the research for society project. So the first important, I think, step was the establishment of the joint research institutes. And of course, the pandemic period was not really the good time to enroll these, to roll out these institutes. So we are now at the stage that the people within these institutes, they explore the chance to talk online, but they need to meet and start to exchange the ideas live. So the first physical meetings of these institutes will take place in September, and then they will decide about the thematic structures, the priorities, and it's also a time for the CONEXUS to decide about the further concept of the joint research institutes, where they move further. So do they stay with the original plan, or which is in a proposal, or do they move to a bit different concept? Our colleagues from the Agricultural University of Athens, they did a lot of effort, and they made a good progress in giving the tools. One is the scientific mapping, which they started, and it provides very good overview what we have, what the research capacity we have within the CONEXUS partners. An important tool which we hope that will support innovations as well, and the technologies transfer, that's the Project Development Fund. It's the main tool to get the joint research projects together, so that the people from different partner institutions start to collaborate on the actual aspects, on the actual problems, or the key aspects in our region. The research hours, that's a new platform for the exchange of the ideas. Already several events that they passed, and I think that's the good tool to exchange for the ideas. We will see how it will evolve, what kind of information will be exchanged through this platform, but it's a good basis for further work. And the research mobility, we really hope that it will start within the joint research institutes in September. And I think when people will start moving between the infrastructures, then they will start talking to each other about their competencies and the ideas. This is what the joint research institutes were missing. I think the live discussions among the researchers. So that's the time which still comes. Now what we are aiming at for the next year, and this is basically Research for Society project, and there is a special work package devoted to the technology transfer and the boosting entrepreneurial capacity of our partner institutions. The first activity which already started, and I think this is the crucial to bring the partners together with the general aim, is the innovation roadmap. So by seeing the gaps and barriers, and also by tackling the good examples, good practice examples, the roadmap should show the strategic goal and near-term objectives. And I think this document is where we start from to really for the bringing this technology transfer services on top of our research, because we know that not all research ends with the innovation, and not all the research ends with the technology transfer. So the strategic goals and near-term objectives, they are really important for us to understand where are our gaps and what are our strengths, what we are missing, and what we are aiming at within the next 1-2 years, and also on the long-term perspective. So involvement of the researchers in the development of the innovations, into technology transfer. So that's we have a limited activities within that. So there is a hackathon planned for in a thematic on the thematic issues, but we hope that the trainings and the courses will become very important part in basically in educating researchers. So our partner institutions, we already know that they have very different experience in the technology transfer. And the important thing is that we start to think how to exchange for the best practices and how to learn from each other. One key aspect which is addressed in the Research for Society project is the exploration of possibilities to integrate into knowledge and innovation communities. And these are legal entities and basically devoted for the partnership between the universities, research centers, and industry. There are already several knowledge and innovation communities existing, but there are also some proposals approaching, and one of those is on water, marine, and maritime sectors and ecosystems, which is close to our smart urban coastal sustainability issues. So the work package in the Research for Society project, they will analyze and the situation, and they will try to suggest for the CONEXUS project, is that an option to move and to integrate into one of the existing knowledge and innovation communities, or to go with the proposal for the new call. Review of good practices in a partnership with the industry and the stakeholder database. That was also addressed in Danis's talk, and I think this is very important that we develop our regional envelopes. What are our regional stakeholders and industry partners where we can rely it, and which are coming on top during the next decades. So, and I think this is where we might come with another initiative to move into research infrastructures. And this is again, this is another facility which we are thinking about, and that's idea coming already from the ongoing results on ongoing activities. So it may, one of the ideas is that the research, joint research institutes, they might move to research infrastructures, and there are several, quite a number, I would say, research infrastructures already existing and approved by European Commission. And the one possibility is that we move with our joint research institutes into research infrastructure on smart urban coastal sustainability, and that would kind of provide a facility for products and services our researchers might provide to industry and other stakeholders. So the innovation hub is mentioned also, and it's about also bridging the gap between the research portal maybe and innovation and our services, that bringing together information on infrastructure, our research profiles, and the services. It's time for next year to bring the key information, what services we already can provide as a consortium, as an alliance to our stakeholders and industry partners. We are missing this envelope, but this is in the plans of the Research for Society project. And yeah, I agree fully what Danica said. So the joint curricula for innovation and commercialization or technology transfer, that's of crucial importance. We have to think how we bring this knowledge to our students, and how we also get our students already to the level where they are educated in the way that they look into smart urban coastal sustainability as the way of providing new innovations, giving you services for the local industries, tackling the regional problems. Yeah, that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you, Darius. Thank you for your presentation. I think it answered partially to what Danica says. I hope so. And we will go further into this process with RFS project. I think that the main idea is to have also an impact and to bring research to society. And I think that we want to raise awareness on such topics and really work with the general society. And for this, I think we have the the international school contest also. So our third guest is a schoolboy at the Grigore Moisil National College of Bucharest in Romania. He is a member of the winning team of the first EU-CONEXUS international school contest called Think Smart, Create Green in the category 13-14 years old. His name is Luca Sebastian Pazare. He's with us today. And his team, coached by the teacher Camelia Ekaterina Ionescu, has developed a project on innovative sustainable development strategies for the coastal city of Mangalia in Romania. Luca, the floor is yours.
Yes, I will share the screen now. Let me know if you see. Can you see?
Yes, perfect.
So hello, my name is Luca. I am part of the winner team from the international contest Think Smart, Create Green. In the time allowed to me, I would like to cover some points about this project that I think are worth covering. But first of all, I want to do a quick presentation of the project that won us the competition. So we made a poster that presented the types of pollution present in the Mangalia area, and we called it Strategies for Sustainable Development in Mangalia, such as the pollution of air and soil. The first part of the poster is the introduction, where we presented the area that we talk about. Then we presented two charts, just a second to show you. The first chart is about sources of pollution, and the second chart is about the diseases caused by these types of pollution. So we studied the pollution of air and soil, the pollution with oil, the coastal erosion, and the overfishing in large fish. And we all made a suggested drawing about a type of pollution, listed it, and came with solutions. So the first, as you can see, is the pollution of air and soil, and we called it Mangalia for a greener city. Then is overfishing. We called it sustainable use of marine resources. Then is about the coastal erosion, and we called it the minimizing of the impact of the waves in the coastal region. And then the last, which I made, is the reducing of the negative impact of the effluents on the coastal area. At last, we made some conclusion. We have some conclusion, and we listed them, such as that our country is trying a double management of the terrestrial and aquatic resources. And then we listed the bibliography where we took everything we put in this project. After this presentation, I will now stop the share screen because I am not going to use it. Okay, so now I want to talk about some things that I think are not to be ignored. The first thing I want to talk about is the thing that made you invite me at this conference, that being, or one of the things that made you invite me at this conference, that being the fact that I spoke up after the winners of the contest were announced. The reason why I did that is the fact that I'm really interested in the communication between not only schools and international projects like this one, but also students in particular should be encouraged to speak up if they feel the need to. I have a lot more to say about communication, but I will come back to this topic in a minute. Another topic that I want to cover is what did I learn and throughout this making of this project. When making this project, I learned a lot of things about sustainable development and about the pollution sources in the Mangalia area. Another thing that I learned during the project is how important is our contribution in the process of eliminating or at least minimizing the pollution. Then a lot of people ask me, what was the topic of this project when I tell them that we won the contest and why is this topic so important? In my opinion, this topic is way more important than a lot of subjects that are taught in school, such as maths, history, or geography, without the case that you want a career based on this subject, of course, because it helps us further understand the problems of Earth and how to fix them. When I told you I would come back to this to the topic of communication between schools and projects, I was not joking around. I really think that communication is the most important thing of all the topics I covered in my speech today. Communication creates strong relationships between students and members of the project and improves those already existing. Participating in projects like this helps students in the future and them being encouraged to speak up will help them in life. Like speaking after we won the contest helped me being here talking to you about points that I think are crucial to cover. In the end, I want to say thank you for granting me this opportunity of coming to this meeting, and thank you for giving me and my team the chance to present our ideas about helping the world. I am thrilled that I got the chance to express my ideas on how we can improve. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Luca. You have some congratulations in the chat of Zoom. So congratulations for winning and for being with us today. Thank you. And I hope that maybe you will be the future scientist of EU-CONEXUS in a few years. Isabella, maybe?
Thank you. I also thank everybody, and I thank, of course, Luca, especially for being with us for all the roundtables. We are a little bit late, and I will maybe ask directly the conclusion of Mr. Andrius Tsalitis, who has joined us from Lithuania. Andrius Tsalitis will give us a perspective from the national level. He is advisor to the Minister of Education, Science and Sport in Lithuania. He graduated from Mykolas Romeris University with a degree in law, and for 4 years he has worked as a vice president for the Lithuanian Students' Union, supervising the field of study quality and internationality. He has also been working as an advisor especially for the European University Initiative and the European higher education area, and has access to studies on this topic. So we are very happy to have you here, Mr. Tsalitis. I heard that you had the opportunity to hear all our roundtables. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to your comments and to your conclusions.
I really did. Thank you very much for the opportunity to listen to what you have already achieved. So first of all, I would say, Luca, that was very impressive. And now moving forward to a more formal introduction. So dear colleagues and members of the EU-CONEXUS Alliance community, I would like to start by saying that what you're doing here is very far from just another project. It has taken some time for me to convince my colleagues in the government that the ambition set by the Alliances of European University Initiative, with enough support and flexibility, will reshape higher education in Europe. And I truly believe that. Now I can happily say that support and understanding of how much can be achieved by these alliances is constantly growing in Lithuania, at least. I can't say for sure how the situation looks like in other countries and ministries. And I think it is growing because we see clear results and very exact outcomes, many of which you have presented here today as well. And of course, because you talk about your vision of the future with such enthusiasm. So from what I have heard during the conference today, I can say that you seem to be the right community on the right path. And I have no doubt that the EU-CONEXUS will be an essential part of this reshaping that I have mentioned. And these new ideas and principles of organizing studies, a refreshed approach to quality assurance, provision of joint study programs, micro-credentials with student-centered approach, and forms and depth of international cooperation that we have never seen before, actually, along with a new level of relationship with industries and societies at large is very impressive. I am incredibly happy for the students that are already benefiting from this and using the opportunities that you have provided for them. And to be very sincere, I am also a little bit jealous. As a representative of the ministry, I can only express a willingness to support this initiative and your alliance. We have already started national discussions on how to tackle legal barriers that stand in the way of development. We are setting up a co-funding model to aid your aims financially. And we actively engage in the European level discussions that define the further development of this initiative to make sure that it is sustainable, that the future is as clear as it can be for the alliances working really hard to achieve a breakthrough, in my honest opinion. And well, to make sure this ambition from the European Commission doesn't go away. So as a conclusion of a conclusion, I can only say thank you for your very hard work and creativity.
Thank you very much, Andreas. That was also enthusiasm from the national level. So we are grateful also to hear this message. Thank you very much. Jean-Marc, as chair of the eu-conexus Pirate Governing Board, it's your honor to close this conference. I will give you the floor, and yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella. First of all, I would like to thank all of you, all the members of eu-conexus, all the people who gave us a little talk this afternoon, in order to share the vision, to share what has been done, what should be done in the future. We are very happy. We've been very happy to listen to the recommendations made by the European Commission concerning the future recommendations of the European Commissions about the European alliances. Thanks a lot for this enthusiasm and these smiles that we can see on this screen. This shows that we are very well all together, and it's very nice to see that. And I know that I'm sure that I'm convinced that because it's this set of smiles and enthusiasm is related to the fact that we are sharing the same vision all together. And I would like also to warmly thank, of course, the rectors of the governing board, with whom we are working hard in order to create this subject. I see Radu is coming back. I saw Arturas before. Also, I would like to thank the member of the External Advisory Board who helps us to guide us for the movement, for the evolution of eu-conexus. Of course, I would like to thank the management team led by Isabella. Radu mentioned that before. Thank you, Radu, for mentioning the management team. And of course, thank you to all the work package leaders everywhere in Europe, the people working with us for constructing these new objects that we are trying to build together. Initially, the page was white. We are filling it progressively, and we are ready to continue to fill it for the future of this new high education European landscape. And if I had something to say, I would like to, I don't know if there are still some people from Europe now, but I would like to ask for simplification, to ask the member states to help us to have a unique counter for everything. It would be very nice if we could simplify the landscape. A lot of heterogeneity everywhere. When we talked about innovation before, I really enjoyed the presentation made by the colleague. And it seems to me that a huge march of progress is related to the simplification of the landscape. And it would be nice if all the members at the national level, at the European level, could help us in this simplification process. So thank you again to all of you, and hoping to see you very soon. And that's all, Isabella.
Thank you. And these are the last words. There is still, I think, Evelina from the agency here, so the simplification issue is well placed, I hope. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
And thank you, Luca. Congratulations, Luca.
Bye.
Congratulations for the organization.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Great job.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Inga, you're still here? I just wanted to know if we know approximately how many people have been following on YouTube. Do we know that or not?
Should check. Wait a second.
The video went up. You have noticed, Inga, the map with the flag on Cyprus, on Crete instead of Cyprus.
And I must apologize because I didn't pass the right video. But I don't know why. This link came up and I didn't check. So
I hope we are not still broadcasting on YouTube.
Yes, we are.
We are. Okay. That's it's like in series, they have this